They have 24 hours to do it. The prize is $100,000. There can only be one winner. This is the story of two hackers competing against each other in a hacking competition hosted by the CIA. Our story begins in August of 2016, when the CIA posted an article on their website describing their plans for a hacking competition like nothing that had ever been done before. It was called the Hacker Halted Competition, and it was open to anyone from anywhere in the world. All they had to do was register and submit a 3-minute video showing how they would hack into the CIA's website and steal data from it. But there was a catch. They had to do it without getting caught. Normally, you can get around the CIA's website pretty easy, but during the competition, their site was protected by something called a honeypot. A honeypot is basically a security system that collects data about people trying to access restricted areas of a website. So if someone were to try to hack into the CIA's website during the competition, they would immediately be detected and banned from accessing the site. The competition was fierce. Almost 3,000 hackers registered, and the best 100 were invited to the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, to compete. And while some of the competitors were working alone, others worked in teams. Teammates were allowed to stay in contact with each other through instant messaging, but once the competition started, no outside communication was allowed. But even though this wasn't your typical hacking competition, the participants all seemed very confident. One competitor said, "I am going to win the competition. The CIA will see my skills and recruit me." Another said, "It'll be easy to hack them. They are just government noobs." And another confidently proclaimed, "CIA is mine." But who were these hackers? Well, let's start with the first competitor we meet in the documentary, PwC. He's a young hacker from England who began hacking at age 13. At the time of the competition, he was just 19 years old and already had a reputation as being one of the best white hat hackers in the world. In fact, he was so good that the CIA had recruited him a year earlier to help them find vulnerabilities in their website. But now he was back to compete in the Hacker Hall competition, and as soon as the competition started, he got straight to work. Meanwhile, another competitor was also busy. His name was Ryan, and he was a 24-year-old hacker from Arizona. Ryan was also a self-taught expert, and he developed a program that could automatically scan websites for vulnerabilities. He used this software to scan the CIA's website, and then went to work exploiting one of the vulnerabilities he found. As the competition progressed, more and more competitors were eliminated. Most of them didn't even get close to the CIA's website, but those who did were quickly detected by the honeypot and banned. You see, the CIA wasn't the only one hosting a hacking competition that day. Another organization was hosting a similar competition with the same prize money. In fact, both competitions were happening at the same time. Like PwC, he began hacking at a young age and had developed a reputation as one of the best white hat hackers in the world. In fact, he was so good that the CIA had recruited him multiple times to help them find vulnerabilities in their website. But now he was back, competing in the CISA hacking competition. And as soon as the competition started, he got to work. So it seems like this 21-year-old kid from Florida was a true cybersecurity expert. If both competitions were happening at the same time, why did the CIA invite PwC to help them prepare for the competition? If they knew that he might use the information he learned to win the competition. Well, it's because the CIA wasn't worried about PwC winning their competition. They knew that he wasn't good enough to beat their security team. But they were worried about the other competition. They knew that the CISA website was UNT secure, and they were afraid that someone might find a way to exploit it. That's why they invited PwC to help them find vulnerabilities in their website so that they could patch them before the competition started. But there was one big difference between them. The CIA's competition was completely legal, while the other one was not. Even the most secure websites in the world have vulnerabilities that can be exploited if you know where to look. That's why it's important to be careful when you're browsing the internet. You never know who's out there trying to hack into your computer or steal your identity. However, not all of them gave up after being banned. It was the same agency that had invited PwC to help them find vulnerabilities in their website a year earlier. But now they were inviting hackers from around the world to try to exploit those same vulnerabilities. As the competition progressed, he moved deeper and deeper into the website, and eventually he found what he was looking for. But that didn't stop the media from trying to find out who they were. In the end, they were able to identify him through his social media accounts and online activity. It was a hidden folder that contained sensitive information. He copied the data to an external server and then uploaded it to GitHub. Then, with only seconds left in the competition, he submitted his video. And the best part was that the CISA website was not protected by a honeypot. This meant that the hackers could try to exploit the CIA's website as many times as they wanted and they wouldn't be detected. Some of them waited until the last minute and then tried to hack into the CIA's website again. But by then, the CIA's security team had blocked their IP addresses so they couldn't get in. With each passing hour, fewer and fewer hackers remained. At one point, it was down to just 4 competitors, one of whom was PwC. He had managed to get past the CIA's website security, but now he was having trouble navigating the site. But what did he do with the money? He invested it in a new company that provides security consulting services to major corporations. Not bad for a 19-year-old kid from England. He needed to find the vulnerability in the site, but he couldn't find it. With only 5 minutes left in the competition, he finally found what he was looking for. It was a hidden folder in the website's directory that contains sensitive information. PwC copied the data to an external server and then uploaded it to Git. Then, with just seconds left in the competition, he submitted his video. At this point, 3 other hackers were still trying to get into the CIA's website, but they were unsuccessful. And now it was up to the judges to decide who had won. They had to watch every single video and score them based on several criteria. Things like creativity, technical skill, efficiency, and whether or not they actually stole data from the website. In the end, PwC won the competition and he was awarded $100,000 and a trophy. However, there was more to the story. This other competition was hosted by the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA. So who were these hackers? Well, one of them was a 21-year-old college student from Florida. He spent the first few hours scanning the CISA website for vulnerabilities and then began exploiting one of them. Unlike the CIA competition, the CISA competition was anonymous, which meant that the participants didn't have to reveal their identities. After the competition ended, he was contacted by the CISA and asked to help them secure their website. But there's one thing that you might be wondering. But what does this mean for you? Well, it means that even the CIA isn't 100% secure. In fact, no one is. Now check out Who Hacked the Olympics or watch this video instead.